So, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Haha.
Yes, you're back. Our listeners will hopefully come back because apparently no one wants to listen to me when I put quality production value into an episode. Thank you all for tuning in to the Dragoon's Lair podcast where I'm just screaming into the void. We are your perfect strangers. I am your cousin Larry Appleton, the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me is my Balky Bartokamus himself, Bronson Pinchot, because yes, he actually looks like Bronson Pinchot.
I've gotten Bronson Pinchot. I've gotten Andy Garcia. I've gotten Andy Pettit, and I've gotten Ray Romano.
Yes, well, you are definitely...
And Peter Boyle.
No.
But I
Yeah,
don't see
Peter Boyle, absolutely.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
But I definitely see the Bronson Pinchot. Absolutely.
Was on bloody.
Yeah, I was watching the first. I'm on the third season.
How many seasons were there?
I don't even remember, but I'm like, I have at least like 4 seasons of it, so I'm watching. I forgot the first 2 seasons, like they blended together in my mind.
Okay.
I literally was thinking that Perfect Strangers was like, okay, they did 1 season, they were like in the smaller apartment. And then they got the bigger apartment in the second season because that's when they brought in Harriet, the mom from Family Matters, as the elevator operator. And it was like, oh, okay, this is where they start the crossover and give Family Matters its own show. Where it was like, because it was supposed to be about the Winslows at first. And then Urkel just took off and took over.
Yeah.
But no, so I was like, oh, it's the 3rd season? I was like... Okay, I remember the 3rd season intro. The 1st season intro, I kind of remembered.
I remember it just like him, like Larry leaving like Wisconsin or wherever he was coming from to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then Balky was on like the back of a goat.
Well, he's riding on the back of a cart.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, America or bust.
America or bust, yes.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our... Well, how would you phrase this?
Our patriotic episode, because we are recording it for the July weekend.
Yes.
So we decided to give it. We're going to talk about patriotic or American-based movies.
Yeah. Well,
like
movies, TV shows.
Movies, TV shows.
And I mean, what's more American than Perfect Strangers?
Exactly.
Foreigner coming to America, living with a foreign cousin.
Living with a foreign cousin.
And trying to figure out life in general.
Did he ever become a citizen?
I think he did.
Finally.
Well, he became a citizen by the time that he married, what was her? Marianne.
There you go. So he got one. He's a green card husband.
Yeah, and what was it? And then you figure Larry, he got the flight attendant of his dreams. So, you know, where's the flight attendant of my dreams? I don't know.
She missed the flight.
Probably. But yeah, so I want to thank everyone for not listening to my episode with production quality. You know, you could still check it out. It has the Craven trailer that I watched along with the Haunted Mansion trailer.
Which I want to see. That actually made me...
Yeah.
I want to go see Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, the Haunted Mansion trailer really stood out. Craven, but... Haunted Mansion, I was like, okay, This is where it needed to be. Yes. And it's a great cast.
I just hope they don't try to do to that what they did with Pirates, like make a franchise out of it, because the way they did Pirates of the Caribbean, it was good. Like the first 3 films told their story. Yes, it was based on a ride, but it worked. Don't see them doing this with the Haunted Mansion.
Well,
I think it's just a one and done film.
Well, the problem with Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it. But the problem really boils down to they did 3.
And they should have stopped because 3 told their story.
Yes. They did a 4th one that everyone completely forgets about.
No, I saw that one.
No, I saw it too. And it ended with a cliffhanger that was never resolved. Oh. And they then just went into the last one. So it's had 5 movies.
Yeah.
5 movies in a franchise that you're literally sitting there and you're like, 3 was done. It was a trilogy. You could have stopped right then.
Should have stopped there. But now that they're talking about rebooting it.
Yeah, they talk about rebooting a lot of things. And I don't know how I feel about constantly rebooting everything.
Yeah, no, some things should be just left alone.
Listen, Harry Potter, the movies did a great job.
Mhm.
Now Max wants us to buy into a new group of actors coming in to play these parts. Each season is supposed to be like the book, which yes, there were certain things that would have been nice to see from the books, but that doesn't mean that we need a series.
Then, if they want to make a Harry Potter series, new class.
Yeah, well, that it should just be. I mean, let's face it. Doug and I have talked. It's about that Hogwarts Legacy game, and that's telling a story from other characters and stuff. So that's what it should be.
Right.
Like, but let's follow Harry, Ron, and Hermione again.
No.
No.
We did that already. We already have like
Been there, done that.
like 48 hours worth of film.
Yeah, a little too much if you ask me.
Hmm.
But so we've basically gone, and now we've had so much going on that I kind of sat there and I'm like, I looked at the trailers, looked at stuff that's come out, and I'm getting a little sick and tired of stuff. But I will say, as an American, I mean, let's face it, you and I grew up as teenagers in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, were you watching wrestling in the 90s?
Yes.
Okay. I started dipping out in the 90s because I was getting bored and American Gladiators like really dominated.
I watched American Gladiators 11 o'clock every Saturday morning.
Oh, it was amazing to watch.
You knew when you heard Gladiators ready, some shit was about to hit the fan.
Oh yeah, I always loved the Gladiators.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the competitors. I wanted to see the Gladiators dominate. I was the reverse of what their audience was.
I always wanted to see, like, I always wanted just to try it. Not going against the Gladiators. I just wanted to do like some of the competitions, like rolling around in a giant hamster ball
Yeah.
and doing some of the other stuff. But when they had like that, it was like 5 different stations, and you have one gladiator on like a pedestal shooting tennis balls at you at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you start off with like a gun, and then you move down to something different, and then the last thing you have 3, and like you're right next to the gladiator. You have like 3 tennis balls you got to throw at them, and
Yeah, you're trying to hit the target.
Yeah.
I think that was the assault.
The assault. I mean,
Yeah.
that I was like, I want to try that. And then the giant obstacle course at the end, I'm like, I want to try it without the gladiators trying to kill me. I just want to see if I can do it.
Yeah, the assault was great. Like that was the one. I think the thing we all tried to do. Like even if you were a kid, you did it with the water guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Netflix did drop a documentary, which is funny because their series is like 5 episodes. There's like a 2-episode thing on ESPN
Mhm.
that focuses more on the creator of it that came up with the concept. The guy's an Elvis impersonator. And not only that, but he also, like, they didn't have any of the favorite gladiators in that documentary.
Mhm.
Netflix gets Muscles and Mayhem.
And they have everybody.
And they don't have the main guy, the guy who created it, the Elvis impersonator, but they've got favorite gladiators like Laser, Zap, Nitro, Ice.
I want to know where they come up with these names. Like we have Laser, we have Blazer, and then we have Zap.
Yeah, listen, what was more American than American Gladiators at that time?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then remember how they tried to redo it with Hulk Hogan as a commentator?
You know what? That actually wasn't bad. It just wasn't the time bringing it back. I mean, Gina Carano was one of the Gladiators.
She was one of the Gladiators.
Yeah, she was a reason to watch the show.
Yep.
But Muscles and Mayhem on Netflix, I watched all 5 episodes. They animate some of the story, so they do it in kind of like a flash cartoon kind of a deal. So it's kind of fun, but seeing these guys all these years later and like the female gladiators and stuff catching up on what they've done in their lives, it's like, I think, what is it? I think Ice has like a podcast and like a ton of stuff.
A real estate agent?
I think they've all done like a bunch of other stuff and moved on. But a lot of them started off as being actors or they were athletes that like they got hurt.
One of the guys, one of the male gladiators, he was in Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
He was the guy who was like the centaur.
I don't think so. He was just one of the competitors. But he was like in one of the fights, but he wasn't one of the main ones because there was another show that took place late 90s, early 2000s, WMAC Masters. And that was like a martial arts like tournament thing that had a story driven in the background and stuff. It was really cool, and that's actually where they got the like couple of the actors for Mortal Kombat, because the original Mortal Kombat movie, Chris Casamassa on WMAC Masters was known as Chris Casamassa the Red Dragon, and he then went on to do Scorpion and Reptile. And then you had the Machine. He went on to be the guy that fights Liu Kang on the beach.
No, the guy that I'm talking about is he in the movie. He's Motaro, and he was a gladiator. His name is Darren McBee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't like the Machine where he actually took on Liu Kang. He was in one of like the
he was,
like lower like he was just like lower bout kind of fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I mean, they did a lot of stuff with that. But the American Gladiators, Muscles and Mayhem, though, it's like they go real in depth, and it really was as American as you can get. I mean, these guys are like the guys telling stories about going down to Mexico to pick up to get steroids, because steroids are legal down there. Which is funny because I watched the Arnold documentary on Netflix as well.
Yeah, I mean,
the Arnold documentary is broken up into 3 parts.
Okay.
And once again, that is about it as American a story as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Guy, he becomes a bodybuilder, travels the world, and comes to the U.S. He becomes like, as a citizen, he is like promoting bodybuilding, and then like he does all the bodybuilding stuff for the first episode because they break it into 3 parts. The second part is his film career, and then the third is his political run.
Yeah.
And he actually, I didn't realize how good he actually did, where he left California in a better place. And the funniest part was he was pissing off both parties by hiring people from the opposite party.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta give the guy credit.
Yeah, I mean, he did what he set out to do.
Now, granted, yes, his personal life, he screwed things up a bit, but
you know what? That's why it's called a personal life.
Yeah.
If you can keep your personal life separate from your work life, I don't give a shit what you do in your personal life.
yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah, but with the thing was with like the American Gladiators one though, it was so interesting to see all these guys and then hearing about the first half of the first season. They had the guy Titan.
Uh-huh.
He got knocked off with a human cannonball, and he actually went after one of the refs, chased the scrawny guy ref into the crowd, and it took like 3 of the other gladiators to hold him back.
I forgot that was shot in front of a live audience.
Oh yeah, the first season was terribly shot. It was like in an arena, like the joust was on a platform where it was like they would go across, and like if you pushed back too far, the platform would fall. So these guys are banging their heads, and people were literally getting hurt in the first season, where I think they actually one of the gladiators got hurt and ended up leaving because of the injury.
Yeah.
But it was like there was so much going on that show that it was just like truly is about as American as it can get when it comes to competition. And they traveled the entire country.
Did they?
They traveled the country. They were doing road shows of like taking on the people in those towns. You know, those guys got no residuals on any of like the toys and stuff. They weren't getting money off the toy sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why they actually lost like 4 of the original gladiators ended up getting fired because the studio didn't want to pay them because they asked for more money.
Yeah, well, you know, you're making money off my
Yeah.
looks. Why shouldn't I get something? Because
And it really was like they made a bunch of toys and they were marketing it for kids. I remember seeing in the store the joust, the giant Q-tip.
yeah,
I was
giant
like,
Q-tip.
it really looked like a giant
It did.
Q-tip, just a red and blue
Red and blue,
Q-tip.
red and blue Q-tip.
Yeah, so I mean, it it's something to definitely check out, like
Mhm.
just to see the history of American Gladiators.
Because
They didn't touch on the updated version, but
American Gladiators was, in my opinion, a show ahead of its time because it's not really. I mean, you can argue, was it scripted? Was it not scripted? I mean, some of those things. You have to be in shape, and you want to see. It's like, it was just entertainment. It's like, okay, I want to see guys running around in a giant hamster wheel. At one point, remember one of the obstacles they had you hanging upside down, and you had to run.
oh yeah, it was like
obstacle course.
it was an upside down
Yeah.
like racetrack.
Yeah, you were hooked in, and if you didn't make the turn just right, your harness would get stuck, and you were just sitting there spinning,
Yeah.
and then the gladiator would just come over and kick you in the head.
Oh yeah. They even talked on that in the documentary to one of the guys who was considered the dirtiest competitor ever on American Gladiators. The guy went and it was like they told him he was going to have to go and compete against one of like the previous champions where they were nice and fresh. He's been filming and like doing all the competitions. He's like, "No, I'm not doing it." He was going to win. And they like found a way to like deduct a 5-minute penalty just to get like deduct penalties from him in the obstacle course at the end just so he wouldn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, but you had the one girl that she's in the documentary. She won it like 3 times.
There was one guy, he had like a winning streak for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
I
like
can't remember his name.
yeah, that takes guts.
Mhm.
Like, and they were filming that all in like a day.
Yeah.
Like in a week, they were filming an entire season. So that was pretty damn impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally saw like what they were doing, and I was like from the documentary, and I was like, they did that in the 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, and it was like, wow, like you could do so much more nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and they tried.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best ones was the assault.
Yes, that looked like it would be so much fun.
You're firing off like a Nerf rocket launcher, like
No,
a
but they were firing off tennis balls out of this thing.
They were firing tennis balls at the competitors,
Yeah.
but like the missile looked like it was a Nerf missile.
Yes.
Like they really looked like they were using Nerf products.
I mean, just imagine. I mean, getting hit with a puck now because I play hockey. I mean, it leaves a mark. And I'm
Yeah.
wearing. I'm a goalie, and I wear goalie equipment, and I have the front of my arms covered. But if I get hit in the right spot, I'll have like black and blues all over my arm.
Yeah,
But just imagine getting hit with an air-powered tennis ball launcher, and the only thing you're wearing is a helmet and knee pads. You're just like in spandex.
yeah.
The welts that must have been all over your body.
Oh, the tennis balls alone were like, but that
Coming
was
at you easily had to be over 90 miles an hour.
and the gladiators were attacking.
Yes.
Like there was no holding back.
No, and very rarely did the competitors hit the target.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they would have a better shot of just running and trying to like sneak out
yeah.
and like just survive than hitting the target.
Yeah, the initial one though, before it became like the standardized blocks that they used,
Mhm.
they had like a little fake wall.
Yep.
But one of them was like shrubs
Yep.
that the tennis ball could just cut
Go
right
right
through.
through it.
So it was like, was this really anything worth it? You know, this is American ingenuity in its finest.
best.
Yeah.
And how much did you get if you won? I forgot. It was like
$25,000.
that would barely cover like all the reconstructive surgery you would need.
Well, you got to remember in the early 90s, that was a lot of money.
I mean, yes, it was a lot of money, but
compared to the inflation cost
now,
nowadays,
but if
it
you're
was a
looking
lot
at,
of money.
I mean, even then, all the welts and the doctor's visits and the chiropractic visits, you would have to go 25 grand out the window in a day.
Oh yeah, that was putting your body through physical abuse
Yep.
just for the competition.
And just to say I was on TV.
But let's face it, we were kids at that point, and if they would have done a kids version of Gladiators,
Oh, there is a watered down version of American Gladiators called Wipeout.
yeah. Well, if we wouldn't have Wipeout or like American Ninja Warrior
Without American Gladiators.
Yeah,
No, you wouldn't.
American Gladiators really was the innovation of that style.
Mm-hmm.
And they said the first season they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
No, it showed.
Yeah. They were like trying to figure everything out, and they were hiring like stunt guys.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. So it was like they got stunt guys to help test out to try to figure this shit out.
Yeah, I mean, I would that actually makes sense.
Yeah. It like they were trying when they tried to do like the sticking the guys on the wall, like that would never worked because they completely forgot the laws of physics.
Yep.
Legs are just dangling, nothing's actually gonna stick.
Yep.
And they said they got that off of the idea from an episode of like David Letterman's talk show where
Yeah,
he
he
went,
would
he
run
did that,
and
and
jump
it was
and-
just like, oh god. And they still do that stuff to this day, like sticking, like people use the Velcro suits to stick to a wall. I'm like, I think they did that at our college during those like,
Probably.
no, they had the events like
Yeah,
on the
those-
campus.
Yeah, those stupid
things.
events.
How many of them did you actually go to when we were in school?
None. I showed up. I went to class. I went home.
See, I was the what was it? I was the secretary, then became the vice president of the film club there, and we had the shittiest thing was they wanted us to participate. So the Clue credits.
See. I got in before I had to take Clue credit.
Oh yeah. No, I got in just as they did the Clue credits. Now, I was able to wipe out all my Clue credits without going to anything external from my film club. Because the film club, we were able to make movies listed as an event
Mm-hmm.
that got us the Clue credit. So it was an ingenious strategy.
Yeah.
But it's like later on when I went back afterwards and I went for round 2, which that went nowhere. But I did manage to go. I made some good friends and stuff. You know Henry.
Yeah.
So so I went and I'm like, I literally went and sat there and I had to set up those events.
Oh God.
Oh God, indeed was right. Working there and setting up the events. I never really did any of the events. I think I did maybe like the laser tag.
That was fun.
That was
I
fun.
like laser tag.
Yeah. But outside of that, I was like done. Like I really didn't.
No.
It was like come get in and get out. But now you did get a chance to watch Secret Invasion.
Yep.
I talked a little bit about my impression on the last episode of the first episode of it. I didn't want to do anything spoilery, but now we're going to start kind of tapping into the spoiler elements. There's 2 episodes out. And frankly, it's a tonal shift.
Yes, it is.
So it's getting used to the new tone of the show. Every Marvel show seems to have like a different shift. You know, Ms. Marvel was very like kid style.
Mm-hmm.
It was more towards a female audience and like a younger crowd, which it took me a while to get into because of that. She-Hulk was more
Comedy.
it was
Comedy.
it was like
action.
I would like to say it was more like an Ally McBeal. Because it focused on her being a lawyer, but then there was all the goofy stuff too.
Yeah.
So I would say it's kind of like throwback to like an Ally McBeal style, like lawyer comedy drama.
Yeah.
Because there were some dramatic elements of her trying to find a date,
Yeah.
but those also became kind of funny as well. I mean, when you look at Moon Knight was very serious in tone, but it had its comedic moments. Good job, genius.
I liked it. I tried to get into Moon Knight. I gave it a shot.
Yeah, you won't.
I gave Moon Knight. I gave it a shot. Couldn't really get into it. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I tried. I watched a couple episodes and I was like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I tried. I legitimately tried to give it a shot, and I was like with like Loki and with the Willow, with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
It was like every week. Okay, gotta watch it. Watched a couple of episodes of Moon Knight. I was like, I really don't have to watch it.
Yeah, you did.
You know, it was like homework. I didn't really want to watch. I kept finding excuses not to do it.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll
I
get the
noticed.
Cliff Notes.
Yeah, I noticed that. Thankfully, because of you pulling everything, your camera froze.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like sitting here trying to figure this out as we're in the middle of recording because How do I get Mike's camera to start working again? It's a beautiful thing, but we're gonna barrel through as I try to figure this out for our video version. But yeah, so now, what was your impression of the first episode of Secret Invasion?
Um, Felt like I was watching a Bourne movie, like a Jason Bourne movie.
Yeah, well,
Very, very James Bondish. Um, Took me a little bit to really like. I'm still left with a few questions as to who was real and who was a Skrull. Um, can I give away a little bit of a spoiler now?
yeah, oh, absolutely. Listen,
Like Martin
the first episode alone
was 2 weeks ago.
was 2 weeks
All right.
ago.
So Martin Friedman's character.
Yep.
What was his name in the show? Not Agent Ross.
Yeah, Agent Ross.
Agent Ross. Was
He wasn't Coulson. He was Ross.
Right, yeah, he was Coulson. He was Ross.
Yeah.
Was he a Skrull the entire time you saw him, or was he just replaced? It was little things like that I kind of get a little confused on.
I feel like he was replaced because I feel like he was dealing more with the Wakanda stuff for Black Panther and everything. So it seems like to me that was more of the thing.
Okay, so I mean that's one of the things when I watch it, I'm a little okay. Is this person legit? Is this person from was this character always a Skrull and we just didn't figure it out yet?
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, that's the thing that they want to keep you guessing. Like, okay, was this, you saw him back in Winter Soldier. Was he a Skrull then? How far back does it go? Because when you watched Captain Marvel, the Skrulls have been here since the 80s, 90s.
90s. Yeah, because Captain Marvel took place in the 90s.
90s.
So because of that, we're now sitting there and it's like, okay, well, see how this all plays out. But it's interesting to see the dynamic because of how Fury's changed over the years, too. And it was great seeing the character of Maria Hill back.
Yep.
So, I mean, seeing these actors coming back for these parts was absolutely worth it.
And I liked how they changed Nick Fury's character, where when you see him in the Avengers and you see him basically anywhere else before the blip, like Maria Hill said, he was always 4 moves ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and
here he's kind of like, okay, let me see what happens. I think to me it seems he's not as sure of himself as he was before he got blipped out.
Yeah, the blip really did change things. I still hate that name.
The blip?
The blip.
Well, what else are you gonna call it? The snap?
Well, that's what everyone else calls it, which makes the most fucking sense because it was the Thanos snap. But the vanishing. There were other ideas. I'm like, the blip really does sound like something that
something on a radar, like a blip.
Yeah, but it also sounds like what teenagers would call it. And I mean, let's face it, it came from Spider-Man Far From Home, so it makes the most sense that would be the thing. So, we got to sit there and deal with that. But it's the tonal shift definitely changed up everything. And Nick Fury, it's Samuel L. Jackson. You're going to love him no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is more grizzled. You could tell he's been gone a while.
You could tell it took its toll on him.
Yeah. Disappearing for those 5 years that the so-called blip was supposed to take place in really did a number on him.
Yes, but here's the thing. When everybody, in all the other films, it said they didn't feel the 5 years. It was like a blink of an eye for them.
Yeah.
But again, the green light's on.
Yeah, I know.
But
fix the camera. I'm trying production value here. I'm trying,
Trying. Well, obviously, when you tried to production value, it didn't work. So I'm just bringing in my own value.
Your value is worthless.
Obviously not, because you got shit. Anyway, back to Nick Fury.
Pendejo. Yes,
It's a
now
good thing I'm
you know.
deaf.
Now you know how that fucking feels.
It's a good thing I'm deaf. Anyway,
You jackass.
back to
This is as American as it gets right now, motherfucker.
anyway.
Listen.
Yeah, when you could tell it took its toll. I mean, think about it. If you disappear for 5 years and then you come back, shit's gonna change, and you're missing 5 years, and 5 years in the quote unquote intelligence community, it's a long ass time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Fury disappearing for 5 years, and I mean, granted, you understand why the Skrulls are upset.
Mhm.
By the time you get to the second episode, and you really see like, okay, they're upset because they feel like he didn't keep his promise about finding them a new home. It's like half the fucking population disappeared. They could have snuck in the whole fucking time,
Well, they said
and they wouldn't know, and no one would notice because, and a lot of people don't realize that they are doing Secret Invasion not the same way as the comics.
no.
They're changing things up to make it so it's a Secret Invasion that fits in the MCU. So that's just got to be taken right out of the bat. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, understand, if you're a comic book purist and
You're
you're,
not gonna
like,
enjoy
yeah, you're going to see the differences and be like, oh, so it's in name only. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Pretty much. I mean, I like it when comic books, when comic book movies stay true to the comic book because that's what you expect.
Yeah.
You know? Granted, not everything can be done verbatim as in the book. Just it's impossible.
Yeah, things don't always,
Doesn't always
line
matter.
up.
You-
And
it just physically, and you just can't do certain things.
yeah, I mean, if you, Lord of the Rings, prime example,
Mhm.
the first movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, there, if you've ever read the books, there's literally 6 chapters of they're walking in the woods, Tom Bombadil comes and saves them. They're walking in the woods, Tom Bombadil comes and saves them. It's literally 6 fucking chapters of that. It didn't get put into the movie.
You didn't need it. I mean, the whole fucking movie, them walking in the woods.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking already,
Mhm.
but they needed to up the pacing.
Mhm.
And now you're going to introduce another character that he's there for the first thing and then disappears.
Yeah.
It's not going to make sense.
I think
So
I think with Secret Invasion, if you take it as an offshoot or an alternate version of the comic book, you will enjoy it.
oh yeah,
If you casually glanced at the Secret Invasion storyline in the comic books and then you watch the show, you will enjoy it. Just keep in mind it's separate from the comic books. So watch the show, go get the trade paperback.
Yeah. Now-
read it, make comparison.
now the second episode came out, and we're going to spoil stuff right now.
Okay.
Because people have already been talking
Mhm.
about it online, and because theory is Rhodey's a Skrull.
Okay.
And it seems very possible. And because let's face it, Rhodey is kind of acting a little out of character when he's in this scene with Fury, and it's like when he's in front of like the other world leaders and he's like trying to explain, that seemed very Rhodey.
Yes.
But once he's in the restaurant with Fury, it kind of seems like he's trying to egg out the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, motherfucker, you're on the Avengers.
Right.
You could call them yourself.
You could bring them down yourself.
You made your comment about the fact that your other suit is made of titanium.
Mhm.
So it's like, seriously,
and
you have your War Machine armor. You are an Avenger.
and also, if you think about it, when you saw Rhodey standing in Infinity War, he had that harness on him.
Yeah, he had his legs all wrapped up in the harness to
Mhm.
be able to walk because he was
He was
paralyzed.
paralyzed. So, is that? I mean, maybe okay. You can make the point. Oh, he had it on under his pants suit, but if you see later on, he doesn't have it. Oh shit, that's a major spoiler right there.
Yeah.
He's a Skrull. Okay,
And
I mean,
I
and they
think-
can
I
they
think
can
it-
always say, oh, we made we put implants on his spine.
I think he was still wearing it during Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Captain America series.
Yeah, I
Because they
remember
did show him.
I
I
don't
think
remember him in it.
he was in it for like like the first episode, I believe, because when it's like he was talking to Falcon about the shield and giving it up.
Mm-hmm.
because the government took it and then gives it to an idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So
I vaguely remember him being in it. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the episode. I just don't really.
I'd have to
remember
go
him.
back and watch it again, which is something I probably will do at some point.
It was a good show.
Yeah, but that was another tonal shift,
Mm-hmm.
just like this one. So it's like bouncing around with the tone, but this really felt like Rhodey is a Skrull already. He just doesn't know how to
Right.
get the rest of the Avengers because everyone's off on their own.
Right.
And for all we know, Ant-Man's already still in the Quantum Mania as this is taking place.
That is true.
So now, Fury, though, the ending, though, was a real twist. I was not expecting that ending. Fury coming home.
Oh
And-
yes.
He's coming home to a wife, and the wife is a
And the
Skrull.
wife of the scroll.
Meanwhile, he just told he just tells Rhodey, who's possibly a Skrull, that it's like, seriously, like, come on, like, I'm not giving up you can't pull rank. They wanted to take his DNA.
Mhm.
If they took Fury's DNA, they were copying it.
Oh, without a doubt.
So it really seems like Rhodey's a Skrull.
Yeah, or at least
Because
working with the
yeah, because he told Talos earlier, it's like, you think that human beings can't even get along with each other,
Yeah.
and you think the Skrulls and humans can all get along? Meanwhile, Fury's supposedly married to a Skrull. I will say, Emilia Clarke, her character really seems to be like the most spy style character in the show so far.
Yes.
And I love it. Like, she's like almost playing both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and her playing an older version of Talos' daughter.
I think she kind of. I think she's a double agent.
You know,
Originally working for the bad guys,
Yeah.
but then.
I think a lot of the people thought originally she was going to be like the new Skrull Queen,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, nope, this doesn't seem to be like that. But you know, she's doing a great job. Like, this cast is amazing,
Yep.
and I can't wait to see who they bring in next, because it's only a six. I think what is it, six episodes. You know, we get confused on the episode count because they lie to us sometimes and tell us, it's going to be over. Thank you, Flash. And then here's four more episodes. Because it really seemed like it would have ended with the whole thing with Oliver and Barry.
It
Like,
should have ended there. It started there. It should have ended there.
Yeah, but you know, that's a whole other.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. Now, when it came down to it, though, Fury putting on the wedding ring, and it's like with the Skrull, that to me was just like, okay, you know,
See now,
some people can get along with other people, but
if you, I think he knows she's a Skrull because if you remember, he was living up on the space station with them.
yeah,
So I believe he knows she's a Skrull,
And
and
that-
she's just using that.
well, you know,
Facade.
they said you know how to get in touch with me. Well, apparently there's a Skrull wife that you can get in touch with.
There you go.
You know, that's kind of like, it's like Fury has a secret family. What did he? They turned him into Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, it would be nice to see Hawkeye again, but you know, Jeremy Renner's still like on the mend.
Yes.
But that man is amazing. He really is.
That man really is War Machine now.
Yeah. No, he is a true Avenger because he's a literal hero.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we love Jeremy Renner. Like, I swear, the first thing I ever saw him in was National Lampoon
Senior
Senior Trip. That was absolutely so much fun.
Yep.
And he's only gotten better and better as time has gone on.
He was in Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie Lives.
Oh God.
I think that might have came out before Senior Trip, actually.
Yeah, but I saw Senior Trip. I didn't see Eddie and the Cruisers too.
Only reason, I saw the first one. The first one was good. And I just bought it because the soundtrack was good.
Oh, you mean Grease 2 came out? It's like, oh, the first Grease came out, so we're going to do a sequel. It's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Now they make a prequel.
Yeah.
Rise of the Pink Ladies.
You know, that's, once again, as American as it gets, we're just going to keep doing more.
We're going to beat this horse until it's dead. And then once it's dead, we're going to beat it some more.
And then we're going to eat
We're going to clone it and
we're gonna
beat it again.
We're going to clone it, but we're going to eat the flesh off the carcass there. It really is like just, oh God. But no, so, I mean, the casting that they've done so far for Secret Invasion, I am really looking forward to seeing where this goes, because this does carry like an element of like the discrimination and stuff that's going on. So it's like trying to live in secret, you know, which is funny because there's another show that came out and I was so excited. I forgot to watch Secret Invasion when it came out on Wednesday. I turned on the TV on Thursday because I had to work. I go and I come out. I'm like, I get home. I turn on the TV and I see like I saw Secret Invasion was there. I'm like, all right, I will watch it when I wake up. And I'm looking and I get a notification that Warrior Season 3 dropped on Max. The first 3 episodes came out. And I love that show. Like, Warrior is absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know if you saw the first 2 seasons. This is something that I highly recommend everybody watch, because Warrior really is like, it's what Kung Fu should have been if it was Bruce Lee instead of David Carradine. And I know there's a lot of people out there that love Kung Fu. Well, congratulations. Warrior, I'm going to say something as controversial as it gets. Warrior kicks the shit out of Kung Fu.
Really?
Come at me.
For you, that is a bold statement.
Come at me. Because I don't care. Come at me in the email. You know how to get in touch with me. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. And if you notice I'm saying it a little more bitter, send me some goddamn emails, people.
Show him some love.
You know, seriously, I'm trying to get this motherfucker to get a goddamn Magnum stash, and you won't even help me out. And I've even upped the ante, because you didn't listen to the last episode like these other bastards out there didn't. That's right, you heard me. Now, let's be clear. I upped the ante on this one. You grow a Magnum mustache, I'll shave my goatee.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen you without a goatee.
It's been a long, long time. So I will literally lose the goatee. He gets a Magnum stash and I go clean shaven.
There you go.
This is something for the ages. And I've upped the ante, and all it is the exact same thing. 50 followers on all of our accounts. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We don't fucking really have Twitter
anymore.
But on, like, literally YouTube, on Spotify, I want 50 followers on each platform. He gets a Magnum stash, and I go clean shaven.
On Instagram, we are up to 43 followers.
That's 43.
We're almost there.
What about Facebook?
Let me check it out. Hang on. The Facing Book. Yes, that is the Mario Brothers theme. I am.
Oh God.
Humming or whatever the hell you want to call it. Okay.
Jackass.
Get rid of that.
Move faster.
Really, Dick?
Move faster.
We have 8 followers.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the problem. I want him with a Magnum stash. People, help us out here. I don't want to shave my goatee. I really don't. I love my goatee. It is my look. It is my signature. Him, Magnum stash, it would be worth it. And I'm upping the ante. So, back to Warrior, though. Warrior takes place, like, after the, like, what is it? Like, after the Intercontinental Railroad's been built. It's in California. You've got the Chinese immigrants coming in. So you have, like, the Chinatown there, along with, you have the Irish immigrants that are looking for fair wages. You've got politicians and businessmen that are using the Asian workers as like cheaper labor. So it's causing friction between the Irish and the Chinese.
Yep.
Because they're brawling. And then you have the cops that are busting down on Chinatown. The the main character in this, he was Storm Shadow in G.I. Joe: The Rise of Snake Eyes.
Okay.
So G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, he was
That's not the same guy who was in the first two
no,
films.
completely different. Better recasting.
I thought
It,
he
like,
did an okay job.
the first guy did a good job, but it was just like this one, he wasn't like obsessed with the Baroness, where it was like really creepy.
Mm.
It's like, I will kill anyone around you. Normally it was Destro and the Baroness
Yeah.
together, so it was like a little weird, you know. But it really is like one of those shows, and it's based on Bruce Lee's actual writing.
Mhm.
So because it's based on Bruce Lee's writing, and his daughter Shannon Lee went in and she's fixed it up and like updated things, it is phenomenal. It is absolutely one of the best produced shows out there. It started off, I think, on like Epix, and HBO got it during 2020. There was all the Asian hate that was coming out because we had a moron calling it things the China virus. You can argue with it however you want on this one, but Asian people in the US didn't deserve the hate that they were getting for this, and it was bullshit. And this came out and did so well on HBO Max when it was still HBO Max.
Right. Now it's just back.
Yeah. It's Max. Assholes.
Savior of the universe.
But yeah, now they were able to get a season 3, and we knew they got a season 3 back in 2020. It was like 2020, 2021. They announced they got and it took them until 2023 for the season. So, I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal a show. Anybody should be checking this out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the main topic. So, Mike, you want to lead us off?
Since it is 4th of July weekend, when me and Danny had our pre-production meeting, which basically was just a text, what are we talking about this week? I was like, 4th of July weekend, let's go a little patriotic. Let's deal with some American-based films where, deals with, America. So I have a couple of films off the top of my head that kind of like sums it up. First,
Okay.
going in the realm of sports,
Of course.
Miracle.
Okay.
About the 1980s U.S. men's hockey team.
All right.
Again,
I thought you were going to pick a different movie, but
what?
I thought you were going to go with Rocky 4.
No.
That is American exceptionalism.
That is American, but I was trying to keep it, like kind of real. I mean, yes, Rocky, you can make the case between Cold War, everything, but this is more real. So, again, you have how the team gets put together, how they went through everything, how they bonded, and ultimately beat the Russians. But what a lot of people don't remember is they didn't beat the Russians to win the gold medal.
No.
They beat the Russians to play against Finland. I think it was Finland or Poland, to get the right to play for the gold medal. Because if they lost, they would have gotten bronze, I believe.
Yeah.
If they lost against Finland, they would have got bronze. But again, you had the late Herb Brooks on set as a consultant, and unfortunately, he passed away just after principal photography was done. But yeah, Miracle.
Okay.
Great film.
Yes, Miracle is absolutely phenomenal off of a real
Mm-hmm.
actual
Even if you're
event.
not a hockey fan,
Just
watch this. You'll get
it
inspired.
is inspirational.
Kurt Russell does a great job as Herb Brooks.
Yep. Kurt Russell is highly underrated.
Very underrated. I mean, a lot of the players who make up the team, a lot of them like you've seen before, but none of them really stand out as like, oh, I know this guy. So that also helped make you focus more on the story than the actors
Yeah.
in it. Number 2, another Kurt Russell film, Tombstone.
Okay.
Okay, Old West, you got to lay the law down, Cowboys versus the Earps, just the history of it.
Okay.
Very entertaining and also factual. Number 3, The Alamo, but not the one with John Wayne, the one with Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
It has Billy Bob Thornton. It has the guy from the Conjuring movies, Patrick Wilson, I believe his name
I think
is.
so.
Patrick Wilson, he's in it. And it's Billy Bob plays David Crockett. Jason Patric plays Jim Bowie. And it's historical fact. This is what happened. It tells you, like, we all know, okay, oh yeah, the Alamo, the Mexicans. Okay, well, what happened? How did they get into the Alamo? How did everybody come here? What was going on? And it shows you the 3 days of the battle and what was going on. And it showed you at the end when General Sam Houston, played by I see his face. Inner Space God, Randy Quaid.
There you go.
He plays General Sam Houston. They said at the end, that whole battle between Sam Houston's army and the Mexican army was over in 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Okay.
The whole battle and the whole war was over. They got Mexico. 20 minutes. So that was number 3. Number 4. I gotta throw Indiana Jones in there.
That's patriotic to you?
Kind of.
Stop pulling the cables.
Okay. Another patriotic movie. Okay. Pride of the Yankees, because baseball, apple pie.
Fucking Yankees.
Oh, I don't hate the Yankees. Hey, although today, July 1st, is, if you're a Met fan, it is Bobby Bonilla Day. So congratulations, you get to pay him for doing nothing. Yes, let's give this man $50 trillion payable every July 1st. And then the rest of the Mets fans can just collectively commit suicide as they sit there and go, fuck.
Listen, I don't watch sports for the most part, but I am a Mets fan. I know heartbreak all too well.
Yes, you do.
So, to every one of you Yankees fans out there, fuck you. Your team was bought for so long that's the only reason why you got as many wins.
They produce. Anyway.
They produce shit.
Hey, 26, 27 World Championship, 28. How many they got?
All bought and paid for.
Doesn't matter.
Just like the Patriots.
Champions is champion, man. Anyway.
Just like the bullshit Patriots.
Fuck the Patriots. Fuck football. That's right, I said it. Fuck football. And rounding it out, number 5, another sports film, goes again, The Underdog, the first Major League.
Of course you went Major League.
I went Major League.
Okay.
Yes, the first 2 were good.
See,
and the rest of them kind of went, eh.
See, I'm more of a traditional 80s. What exemplifies America?
You're going to say American Ninja, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm going to say American Ninja.
Which one? The first one?
Oh, of course. Michael Dudikoff?
He was in the first 3, wasn't
he? No, 1, 2, 4 was Michael Dudikoff. They replaced him for number 3, and then in 4, him and the other guy are together. But I have to say number 1 and 2 because Action Jackson. Come on.
My favorite
Jackson coming out with the 2 butterfly swords in the second one.
I think my favorite scene, it was from the second one. Jackson is fighting that one ninja, and they're going back and forth, and Jackson keeps knocking him down, and he keeps walking away, but the ninja keeps popping back up.
Yeah.
So finally he hits him, and he goes up, and he goes, "Stay down!" And the guy just collapsed. I'm like, that's awesome.
That is literally the all-time best moment, seconded by him with the 2 butterfly swords, like just swinging them around. You were just like, he pulls out butterfly swords. But the first movie, though, it was like military base, very American, And then I got to go with Rambo First Blood, which was the second installment. Because the first one is very depressing when you actually think about it.
Well, I believe wasn't Rambo also? I don't know. It wasn't a book, but in the original, one of the first drafts that Stallone wrote, at the end when he's in the where did he have the big shootout at the end? It was either the police station or wherever the big shootout was, and you had Rambo talking to Truman. Rambo kills himself. He says, I come home. I fought a war over there. I come here. I'm fighting the same morning because I'm done, and he blows his brains out.
Yeah. See, now I go with the second one because that one was like so American, like gun ho, go into another country and like bomb the shit out of things and blow people up. That is what a lot of everyone thought of American exceptionalism in the 80s.
Yep.
Come on. There is no way around it. I do have a sports movie on my list though.
Okay.
Remember the Titans.
Yes, that is another good movie.
It is an amazing movie with a phenomenal cast.
Mm-hmm. And again, that cast, like you see some of them now, and you realize that you know who they are. Like Ryan Gosling's in it.
Yep.
Okay, and you'll see some of them like, oh, this one, and you had a very young Hayden Panettiere in it.
Yep.
But again, at the time when it came out, they weren't known. They weren't household names, so you kind of paid more attention to the story being told than the actors in it.
But you also did have Ethan Suplee.
Yes, you had. Ethan
Suplee. I mean, the transformation he's made over the years is phenomenal.
Amazing.
But I mean, he was best known really for Boy Meets World until the Titans.
No, he was also in Mallrats
and American History X. You're going to say Mallrats because of the fact that you are pretty much blowing Kevin Smith.
Not right now. Man.
But you would.
No.
Please.
No.
If he pulled it down and said to do it, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
You are fanboyed on beyond fanboy.
No, I am a fanboy. I will admit I am a Kevin Smith fanboy, but when it comes to oral, no, not when there's something in it for me. If he says, do this and I will give you a movie contract, fuck, let's go. All right. But if there's nothing in it for me, I'm not doing it for myself. Fuck that. No, he got a wife to do that shit.
Oh, he's got Jason Mewes, but
that too.
Now, that's the thing. Now, when I look at like American movies, like exceptionalism, I got to go Top Gun.
Okay.
And I don't mean Maverick. I mean
the first one.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is nothing more American than seeing the fighter jets and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why we have those patriotic moments of like the military shows of like the planes. Everyone knows like it's an event going to see the Blue Angels flying overhead.
Fleet Week.
Yeah. Slut Week.
That too.
No, I will say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it now because I don't care. I'm gonna tell the story. My ex-girlfriend of mine, she went and we're sitting there. She found out it was Fleet Week, and she was getting all excited. I looked at her and I'm like, you have a boyfriend, right? And she's like, yeah, but I can still look. I knew I was going to have trouble from that second. She then went off to go, and after we split up, she was at Fleet Week. I am glad I am not with her because, I don't know what port she would have gotten something from, but no. Listen, I have a lot of respect for our troops, but Fleet Week really brings out the groupie sluts.
Oh yeah, it does. But that has nothing to do with the Navy.
No, Fleet Week. It's all the military. It doesn't mean anything. Like every branch of the military during Fleet Week really gets like their appreciation. Right. The thing is, it just brings out a whole bunch of women that are looking to bang a soldier.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you have a bunch of soldiers that are too stupid to realize. And when that happens, they end up having an illegitimate child that they don't know about, which is more common than you'd realize.
Yep.
And then they wonder why their military checks have to go to child support. Now, this is a broad generalization that does not mean that we are supporting any of these comments. This is a general opinion that please get upset with me and send me an email at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's dragoonslairpodcast, all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. I dare you to challenge me on that opinion. Now, my last one,
Okay.
it's a little unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Not unusual for me, but I actually have to say it's going to be the
Navy
Toxic
SEALs.
Avenger. Fuck you and Navy SEALs. The Toxic Avenger.
Okay, you have to explain a Toxic Avenger.
How? I have to explain it?
No, I mean, like, yes, explain it.
Explain why?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it takes place in Tromaville, New Jersey.
Okay.
If you go back and you watch it, there is a shot where you get to see the towers.
Okay.
So when I can see the towers in a movie, it really makes me feel like home. Like, it brings me back to a simpler time. But it's also one of those movies where it was made on a low budget,
Very low.
innovative.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, who would have ever thought of a movie with environmentalism mixed in with a hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength? And I have to say that for the Toxic Crusaders cartoon, because I think they said it like at least 5 times in each episode.
Mm-hmm.
Hideously deformed creatures of superhuman size and strength. But yeah, no. The Toxic Avenger character of Toxie. I mean, bullied guy that gets picked on in a gym because he's the janitor. The janitor of the gym gets picked on, ends up being teased by the girls in the movie, gets tricked into wearing a tutu, and ends up falling into a vat of toxic chemicals that turns him into a heroic monster.
What's more American than that?
Exactly. Let's face it. You've got all these people screaming, good guy with a gun, good guy with a gun. No.
Hit a mop.
Yeah. He cleaned up crime
Literally.
in Tromaville, New Jersey. He didn't just beat up the villains. He killed them.
He's like the Punisher.
Oh, Punisher's a vigilante, but no, Toxie's a hero because his senses go off. He has like a kind of spider sense almost, but it's when he's around evil, and it angers him and he goes off, and he's dating a blind woman.
There you go.
There you go. It's like, what's more American than a monster with a beautiful woman killing criminals?
Wasn't it Julie Brown, the girlfriend?
I don't think so. You want to pull it up?
Okay.
While Mike takes a look at this. Now, remember, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. You can actually listen to the fucking show. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can watch the video episodes on Spotify. So I'm going to be a little more vulgar right now because you people need to actually support us. We love you guys. We really do. I want this show to keep going, but for God's sakes, don't beat me down like this. I put production quality in on the episode, and my Spotify has literally no one listened. So, seriously, when there's a solo episode, I don't know what to say here. It's like, seriously, I really came up with some good stuff on that last episode. So, you guys really need to check it out. It will be available on YouTube, but you can watch the video on Spotify, and you can listen to the audio versions on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. So, you got the actress?
Her name in the film is Sarah.
Yes.
It's Andre Miranda.
Yeah.
Andre Miranda.
Yep.
Andy. Andree. Andree. Andree.
Okay.
Miranda.
And I believe she was replaced in the second one. It was the second and the third. And he actually goes to Japan in like the second one
Okay.
and learns how to sumo wrestle.
Well,
So you get
why not?
Toxie in a diaper.
There you
It's
go.
like that's why it's like you were like the Toxic Avenger. No, he can't. It's like, how is that American? It's American. It's as American as it gets. It's the power fantasy of like the scrawny guy becoming
The big guy.
the big,
you
strong
pay-
hero. Yeah, he becomes a monster, but
But
it's
hey, you trade one for the other.
and he still got the hot girl.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. So what's more American in idealism than that?
Just for quick before we wrap things up, I like to have a moment of silence for Mr. Alan Arkin, who passed away yesterday.
Alan Arkin, and we also moment of silence for wrestler Draws.
Draws, yes. Draws. That was. Hang on a second.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we're people are dropping like flies.
Fruity ass. What the hell is a fruity ass?
Yeah, it's a shame. We're going into those days of losing actors
Yep.
again, but I mean, unfortunately, Draws had health
Draw.
issues because he was paralyzed.
Well,
so,
I read when I looked him up, he did regain movement in his arms.
yeah, he got
and
some
of his upper body.
Yeah, he got some of the movement, but not all of it. So it's a shame that he's passed away. Alan Arkin. I thought you were going to be really upset when I first saw like Alan had passed away, but it was like I thought it was going to be Alan Alda, and I
Well,
was
he
like,
already has Parkinson's. I know that.
yeah. But I when I saw Alan and I was like, it wasn't Alda. I was like, okay, Mike's going to be upset, but he's not going to be that. It's not going to
Like,
be
I'm
the
not gonna
same
be-
level.
Like I'm not gonna be like crying.
Oh no, you'd be crying if it was Alan Alda.
I wouldn't.
You're, with the amount of MASH
I
you
like
watch.
MASH. I like MASH, but yeah, I'm not gonna cry.
Listen, I've watched MASH, and I'm not saying I won't watch episodes here and there, but not to the extent that you watch MASH
It's the extent that I watch MASH.
every single day.
No, not every day.
You watch MASH every single day because you're watching Me TV all the time, and they play MASH every single
I
day.
have honestly a lot of time I have TV on. I just have it on for noise in the background.
So how about you put this show on in the background, asshole?
Okay.
Actually, pay attention because otherwise you would have known that I was calling you Bronson Pinchot in the last episode, and I want everyone.
Cause I'm back. Cause I'm natty.
That's right. I want everyone to send Mike messages. I said this in the last episode. I will repeat it again. I want everyone to send Mike messages on his Instagram, Facebook, all of his socials, really, and call him Balky. Listen, if you're Balky, that makes me Cousin Larry. So that's not really a step up for me,
That is true.
you
Oh.
know.
Yeah.
Although it was nice to see the actor come back, like back in the spotlight as She-Hulk's dad.
Yes.
That one was a nice surprise.
Yeah, but he's also in Blue. He was in Blue Bloods for a while.
Yeah, but I wasn't watching Blue Bloods. It was, to me, it was more of a shock seeing him in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I was
wasn't
not expecting.
that.
Yeah, I did not expect him to be She-Hulk's dad.
But it fit.
Yeah.
It definitely fit.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's the 4th of July coming up. I think at this point, I think this is going to be our 4th of July episode.
Yeah.
So we want everyone to be safe out there. If you're using your fireworks,
Remember, drink heavily.
drink heavily, and remember, hold the fireworks in your hand
Close fist.
as you're lighting it. And you want to wait. Count to 3. Not 1. Not on 2. Definitely not 4. No, not on 5. On 3. Then throw it. Remember, it's 1, 2.
Bang.
Exactly. Now,
Hello.
we want you to be safe and
Yeah,
don't
please be
don't
safe. Be
don't
stupid.
loot don't loot.
Don't pull a Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, listen, please do not end up in the emergency room because
You lost fingers.
yeah, you know,
Save that for table saws.
yeah, seriously, you know, you don't want to be 9 3/4 as Mike likes
It's a
to call himself.
quarter. Okay, I got a quarter of a finger left. It's 9 1/4. If I had 3/4, I'd have it up past the knuckle, but I don't. Okay, it's 9 1/4.
Listen, I was bad at fractions,
No
okay?
shit.
Listen, that's where math and I had a disagreement.
I'm tired of finding Math's X. It's over. Move on. Find somebody else. Okay?
once I got to fractions, I was like, what the? No. I don't care.
Just give me the whole thing and none of it. I don't want half.
But then again, you got to remember, there's one thing that teachers back in the day lied to all of us about.
Yeah, about algebra,
No,
geometry.
you won't. You won't always have a calculator in your hands.
No, you won't. Now you have a
Your
fucking
phone.
computer.
Yeah, you have a full computer that can give you complex
I think it's
equations.
that there's more computing power in your cell phone than NASA had when they sent people to the moon.
Actually, there's more computing power in your cell phone than in most people's brains.
That goes without saying.
So, yes, I'm insulting people now. You know what? This is where we're going from now on. No, I'm done. I'm literally done with this.
So I'm the nice guy now?
Oh, you know what? I thought about this the other day and I realized I was described once as the least face person you will ever meet. And when I asked what that meant is what you see is what you get. Well, congratulations. You guys are about to see a whole lot more of and get a whole lot more. So congratulations. You brought this on yourselves. So now he's the nice guy. That's right. When he's the nice one, we have a fucking problem. And now the language is going to go right out the window. We are not playing nice anymore. So this is where we give our socials. So Mike, give out the socials.
Okay, you can follow the Blue Dragoon podcast on Instagram at the Blue Dragoon. Take 2. You can follow motherfucker.
See, this is what happens when you're supposed to be the nice guy.
I know.
You fuck up.
I fuck up. I can't. It's been so long since I've done it. I can't. My tongue gets tied. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Blue Dragoons Podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook at Blue Dragoons Podcast. You can follow me at
It's not Blue Dragoon's Lair?
the Blue.
Well, it's not Dragoon's Lair podcast.
It is.
It's the Blue Dragoon.
Dragoon's Lair Podcast.
It's like you're.
I can't. Anyway, you can follow me at Hamster Pellet Productions on Instagram, Facebook, and you can follow me, Michael Schiavo, on Facebook.
And remember, folks, when it comes to Mike, you need to contribute and give to charity for dyslexia because clearly he cannot keep anything straight.
I can talk. I just can't talk clearly.
You also can't type clearly because it's Dragoon's Lair podcast. You're on the show and you're calling it Blue Dragoon's Lair. So
again, it's been a while since I did this, folks. Give me a break.
Now, did we get any new followers that we need to shout out?
Let me take a look.
While I do the...
Will you do your thing?
Yes. So you can find me at Blue Dragoon 13 on Spotify. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, pretty much any of the socials. You can find me on Twitch, Blue Dragoon 13, where we have a link to the Discord page. Join the community there, and let's grow and make this Dragooni army a thing that we can all be proud of and stop pissing me off. But you can always send us emails at dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com. That's dragoonslairpodcast, all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com.
I'm not sure if I gave these people a shout out before because it's been a while.
Give it a shot, and I'll see if I remember a name.
Caitlin Ferguson.
Do not remember that one.
She is public relations for the Little Victory Theater. I've worked with her when I was stage managing a show she did there. Very cool person. Thank you for following us. Bill Daughtry, Spartacan 3000. Very cool guy. He actually wrote a film that Andre did. That's up with some awards that I was in. Thank you for following us. Allison, we already said. Albert Albanese.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I get you. No, just kidding. We have XX Diana XX
Yes.
underscore 83.
Yep.
And we have
That's right, Peter Boyle.
Yep.
That's the one I gave you.
okay, I got you. Now I gotta look at your shit and find a name for you. So I got you. Hang on, don't you be frightened now, baby. And we also have New Evolution Wrestling NYC.
Thank
They
you.
started following us, so that's Mike Squinn and me.
Yep. And now, before we go, you want to tell everybody how your wrestling debut went?
Well, I was not in the ring as a participant. I was the acting general manager. It was fun. It was a small venue, so we had about, I don't know, I say 30, 35 people there. The talent put on a amazing show. We had 3 or 4 title matches that night. Wrestling was top notch. Our next show will be in September, possibly in Queens when we get more information. I will be throwing that along. But if you're in the New York, Queens area and you want to check out some great independent wrestling, New Evolution Wrestling, NYC. Check us out.
Okay, so with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for actually tuning in. Go back, listen to older episodes.
Please.
Because he's never going to hear the end of this, and I guarantee that, because I will be bitching at him constantly over this.
He bitches at me anyway, so it
No.
all blends into one big bitch.
Oh, this is going to get a lot worse. You are really going to be suffering for this one.
Okay, and that's another thing, folks. If you want to have him if you want to see him make me suffer, only we need is one to be more than one he did when I'm back. Okay, all you need is one viewer. Just watch it one time. It's more than what he did. There you go.
Pendejo.
Just that simple. Say goodbye, Danny.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
See ya. Happy 4th of July.
Stay safe, everybody. Get the fuck out.